right there.
Sweet. So this is why we need testers, folks. He's been hard at work, and this is amongst school and everything else that he does, his job. So let's give him the support. If you got a little bit of free time, help him test out what he needs to test out so we can get it rolled out and finished. You have anything else, Sky, as far as like you want to remind anybody about the suggest command or anything like that?
Yeah, if you weren't here for that meeting where I unveiled that, suggest is a new way to send in requests or issues without having to have a GitHub account. And the syntax is I don't think it's in version 16 of help, but it's basically just that, but it's got two parameters, a title and a body. And when you send that in, it goes straight into GitHub where I see it. And when you do that, I will implement it before I release it because version 17 is a stop update. So I won't release it until absolutely everything that I want to do in it or anything that anybody suggests is already in there or implemented. So yes, if you suggest something and it needs to be in there, then I'm going to add it in there. Yes, with dashes. And version 17 won't come out until it's done. Oh yeah, I just said it, but basically, I want to do everything that you guys are asking for, or anything that I want to do before I release it. So right now, I said I was 98, 99% done with version 17. If you were to suggest something, and it was something that was relevant to version 17, it would sit like there, and I wouldn't release it until I finished whatever you just suggested. Like I would do that and finish it before I released it. Yeah. Anything with the dashboard release, all that, if any of you who have seen it already, that's getting its own project. It's concerning version 17, it's done, but everything else is being pushed to its own project, which will come out in a later update. Not concerning fish sticks because it's its own entity that works alongside fish sticks, but that's going to be a thing that'll be done. So yeah, but right now, testers is the most important thing, just to make sure that everything that I have implemented is not broken, and that everything that I will be implementing between now and the release date works.
Okay, I just want to jump in here. Ladies and gentlemen, Skyranger Delta does this as a labor of love for our community. He is in no way compensated monetarily or in any other way for all that he's done for fish sticks or any of the other work. If he needs just a little bit of little bit of testing help and you're available, please help him. Think about all the work he's done to get it to where it is. Let's help him with that. You have anything else, Sky?
I think that's about it. It's just version 17 has been in production since April, May, sometime in there. So it's been like 7, 8 months. And between that and working on all this mess that the class wants, been pretty great. So, but I do want to say thank you to all of those that have been helping me test. Your continued assistance is very much appreciated.
All right, everybody act busy. Global's about to say something. That's a great question. How many in here right now have been to the website lately?
CC's website?
Yeah. Or the forums, or a combination of the two?
I've been on the forums in the last week.
I go there if I need a link for a new join, but that has not happened recently.
Is anybody close enough to Kratos to slap him?
if all of the
So, Toon, what was you doing on there, if I may ask?
There's a little bit of chatter between myself and Skyranger. We've got the better part of a year. For those that don't know, the website bill for our web host was just paid as of late September, early October. So we technically have about 11 months to decide what we're going to do with the website / forums. And there's a little bit of a push to it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, kind of like still have a presence on the web, but maybe archive the forums in such a way where you can still read them, but you can't actually register or talk on them at all, since nobody does anymore, really, except for Clarence.
Well, that's my point. If you look on there, the only thing that gets posted is Clarence's post of the day, or so I don't know why there couldn't be a channel made in here, and he may post it on here. I don't know if he does or not, but
He does Hangout channel.
In the Hangout every day.
Yep.
So it gets buried pretty quick, then, doesn't it? Or is it pinned?
It does get buried, but not too quickly. Like there's only been one announcement today after his post.
Okay, but some days it might get buried.
Yeah.
So what I was wondering is, I was talking to Neo the other day about it. Basically, I think we wasted $120 for the next year, but it's already paid. It goes out on PayPal automatically. But our website is basically not used. I banned, if you go on the member thing and click joined on the members list, there's 4 red bands there on the 3 on the 12th and 1 on the 10th. I caught them are just spam posts. And sometimes I put you can go to the user thing and look at the notes. It's in there as spam and stuff. But I was talking to Nia, and I think, me personally, if we could archive it somehow, where not get rid of it, but just where nobody could post on it, nobody could join it, but it would basically be there if somebody wanted to, flip through it, and then basically just a face page for CC, and then direct all the action here, because that's where it goes on anyway. You guys are in here all day long, chattering back and forth. So, but to have to worry about taking crap off of it every day, which it takes spurts, but that would be one less headache Neo would have. And then it basically is broken at times, and Neo can answer more of this, but I know it's to the point where it won't update certain things in its present state. So,
Well, essentially, we have the world's worst host for the money.
well, yeah, I mean, but we wouldn't really need much. I mean, we could probably cut that cost in half, which, just to have, if there's no bandwidth really being used and traffic on it other than just redirects, I would think it would be a minimal fee a month from somewhere.
Well, yeah, we've talked about it. Me and Sky are kind of tossing ideas out there about what we could do. If we do, like, sort of close the website as you know it now and streamline, I have to say that if we archive the forums in any way, they would be just as big and cumbersome as they are now. You can't just like turn off registration and not have them. You still have to have the database, and I mean the database for our forums is over 300 megabytes, so it's pretty large. So regardless, I mean space and memory wise, it's still going to take up the same amount of space and memory. Right now, you can't register. I could turn it off where nobody could post on it right now, but I mean that wouldn't really make a difference in our hosting. We'd still have to get it hosted. So.
How big a database do we have on it? As far as I mean, I know it's not gigs. I mean, megs is it?
Yeah, but my point is, I mean, you can't see or read the forums without the database. So.
Yeah, but on the web host, does it say how much actual space we're taking up?
No, see, that's one of the problems with our web host is our web host tells us, hey, you're going over your allowed such and such, but it doesn't say how we're going over it. It says we're using too much memory, but it doesn't tell us where or what type of memory we're going. I mean, like my web host tells you everything. You can drill down and find out exactly which page or script or whatever is causing you the trouble, but our current CC host won't do that.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of it. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't want to get rid of it completely. I just think we need like a faceplate where they can still Google us and find us there, and then it would just be a couple pages of information. You know, probably basically what it is like now, but it just gets old having to worry about messing with it when nobody's using it or posting on it other than Clarence.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, I helped somebody set up a website on a single web host account. And now, in this case, I'm not sure if we'd have the website and the forums. We could have the website. I'm not sure about the forums. And the sign up that they did, the web host they got is around just under $4 a month, and we're paying $10. The web host server that this person got is like blazing super fast compared to what we pay $10 for. So that's kind of the difference. Yes, I'm talking about Kratos. All of our assets, our website, and back in the day, our game servers and stuff are all funded by the membership through donation. And one reason this is becoming important is because we don't really get many donations anymore. I don't know if that's a function of the fact that we don't really get traffic on the website anymore. I don't know. So we're just trying to be better stewards of the money that we have in our account, as opposed to just wasting it on sort of frivolous, way too big accounts that we don't need. Yeah, you guys need to go to the website and like forget the forums part of it. Just use that top menu and you might be amazed at all the content that's there. We have old newsletters that we used to have where many different CC members would write articles and stuff. We've got a timeline of CC's history, all kinds of stuff.
Neil, do I understand that our website is fine? It's the forums that are slow? Are they hosted at the same place? I apologize for asking dumb questions, but
Oh, it's not a dumb question. They're hosted at the same place. It's kind of hard for normal people to notice the difference because they're integrated. Like they both have that same menu across the top. That's why they appear the same. But you'll notice when you're on the website, it says www.ccgaming.com, and when you're on the forums, it says forums.ccgaming.com, which is actually a subdomain of the main website.
okay.
So hard to explain, but yeah.
But the host is the same, correct?
It's technically the same web host, yes.
Okay, so the same terrible service.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
As a matter of fact, I'm thinking it may be the forums that occasionally cause us to have the emergency emails that we get that say, "Hey, you're going over your, This is funny. Just to let people know, we get emails that say we're using too much resources, even though we're on what's called an unlimited account. So if you've ever seen that meme where people say you're using 75% of your unlimited account, and it's kind of like illogical, well, that we get those emails.
Okay, so is AJ has a question.
The forums are run on a system called PHPBB3, not a paid service. And our website is WordPress, not a paid service, although it does have some plugins and stuff that have been paid for in the past. Well, no, it's not so much that it's slow loading for people that are looking at it. It's slow loading like what Global kind of touched on is like if I were going right now to try and add some kind of content to our website, it would break up, down, and sideways before it would accept the content. It's very, very hard to maintain and keep it up. Yeah, it's slow on the back end. Exactly. And that's the difference, by the way, Houdini, is what Global's talking about is us having actually a faceplate, which basically what I would call a business card website, where it's like maybe 1, 2, 3 pages where it basically just tells who we are, where to find our YouTube and Twitch and all that kind of stuff, et cetera, and not have as much content as it has now, including all the forums. We're thinking about going that direction. Right now, it's a full-fledged website.
So, are there any strong objections from the membership or leadership to simply switching hosts and archiving the forums in some way, shape, or form?
And this doesn't have to be done. We're paid up for a year. I'm sure, I don't even know if, I'm guessing we could get a refund if we closed it down, but at present state, we take in $10 a month from somebody who's been given $10 for like 4 years. We have no idea who it is. It comes out every month. And I think there's 500, and after they paid the website bill in October, I think there was $510 or something like that in there. I'd have to look again, but basically that $10 that comes in every month would pay our web hosting. But at our current deal, we no longer have no server costs or anything, so we're basically going to stay right around $500. You know, once if nobody else donates anything, which I don't see why we need donations right now. Anyway, we have no use for the money, so it'd be kind of crappy to ask for it. So if somebody wants to donate, that's more than fine, but it's just sitting there.
What's AWS, Ping Jockey, sir?
Amazon Web Services.
Yeah.
I think the reason he's suggesting it, I could be wrong, he may be able to tell me. Amazon Web Services kind of like, yeah, it pays for what you use, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know how that would work out, because way back in the day we ran into data overages when we had all the game servers. So I don't think we'd have that. You know, we shouldn't have that issue now. But if we're just on a low cost deal and we happen to run over it, then we incur more of a cost too. So
sorry for being late. So for AWS, the way you're kind of looking at it, from the way you're kind of speaking about it, is if you were to do a lift and shift from your current server environment to like, you know, hosted EC2 instances. If you're just using stuff like just I'm brain farting on the back end stuff, but I mean, most of the servers you would use would be just SaaS services, right? So the cost would be minimal, and you know, for the first year, if you sign up, you get a year of free service, right? So I mean, worst case, yeah, WordPress and CDN, exactly. So you could be pretty thrifty about it and move the whole thing over. And the nice thing about it is, if you need to have CDN and load balancing and stuff like that, it's pretty elementary to set up. I'm actually an AWS kind of guy, so.
Right, this isn't stuff we need to do right now. It's basically what we were saying when we prefaced this entire conversation was that we just paid for a year's worth of web hosting service, and we're in that part where we're trying to decide what we want to do well before that runs out.
Awesome, and that's great. And that's a great plan. You know, trying to plan as far ahead as possible, so you can figure out how you want to, you know, go forward, and give yourself plenty of time for the migration is good. It's great. I mean, for WordPress to move from one hosted WordPress solution to another, it's really pretty straightforward. Depending on what you're using for the forum engines, again, that's extraordinarily straightforward as well. You know, I can't imagine that there'd be that you're consuming that much storage. So I mean, the storage cost would be pretty minimal. Compute time, depending on how big of an instance or how much you would consume from an AMI as an AMI, which is an Amazon appliance essentially, that would be minimal as well. To give you some perspective, I ran a TeamSpeak host in AWS for about $3 a month that supported like 400 users. So I mean, you know,
Yeah, we wouldn't even come close to anything like that.
right. So I mean, really, you know, we could. There are many different AWS calculators that we could leverage just to get a ballpark idea of you know, how much of how much of a dollar spend it would be per month, and safeguards you could put into place to, you know, minimize that particular cost spend. Um, Also, on the upside, you wouldn't have a problem with the outages or anything because you know, AWS is pretty much bulletproof, and if you even went as far as to do, you know, region replication, it would even make it more bulletproof. It really, you know, if you're coming out of like out of the Virginia region, you should be fine.
Well, somebody mentioned Google and Google Docs and all that good stuff. I wanted to let everybody know. CC originally started playing around with what's called G Suite now, which is like the Google Suite of business apps. Like, oh gosh, I think they started in like 2005 or 2006, something like that. This was back when Google still had a service called Google Wave and lots of other stuff. 2008 maybe, I don't remember. But the point is, before G Suite became what it is today, which is Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, all that, we grandfathered Google Suite for Business. And what that means is we have our own Gmail that's actually at ccgaming.com. We have our own Google Drives and Sheets and Docs and all the stuff that businesses get charged for, we get for free because we were part of the beta way long time ago. So all this side talk I was noticing people saying about the Sheets and Docs and all that good stuff, that's all, we have all of that. That's the good news. We'll basically never lose that as long as we're a community.
You know, another option also, if there is if the organization is leveraging Google services, Google Cloud Compute also has pretty much the same setup as Amazon. So I mean, if it might be even a cost benefit to go in that path. So I mean, there's many different ways to approach this.
What you got, Amra?
Two things. One, I'm glad we're all discussing this and we're getting stuff figured out on this, but this is not going to be solved today. So I'd like, as my second part, I'd like to offer the suggestion that after the meeting is over, please continue the discussion in the meeting hall on this subject so we can get some more ideas flowing and whatnot. So maybe we can actually make a decision in the next couple weeks on this before it gets too much longer, like Kessa was saying in chat.
Yeah, this entire subject has kind of been brushed off, put off a few times, and partially it's because we don't really want to lose what we have, but at the same time, it's kind of a we don't want to be digital hoarders, if you get my meaning. The current forums, as you see them right now, went up a little bit before January 1st, 2009. They started working on the current website November of 2008. So we have hundreds of thousands of posts and tens of thousands of topics. And some of it is not relevant anymore. So yeah, I definitely think we should have a separate discussion. Plus, this is also kind of brought up in the same vein as people helping Skyranger test the fish stick spot out. We're basically saying if you have any time or any inclination to talk about this stuff, if you're involved in this kind of stuff, if you know about this kind of stuff, we invite you to become involved in the conversation, like Ping Jockey's doing this evening, because we don't know what kind of talent we have in the community, because generally people don't really, come out and say, hey, I do this, hey, I do that. We only have a few people who actually donate their time and energy to certain things. So if you want to be one of those people, we would love to have you in that conversation. Alrighty, at this time I'm going to ask the leaders. In general, the leaders, do you have any topics you want to bring up for the community? Or it could be about anything. It could be about the devotionals. It could be about movie nights or game nights. Any discussion on things like, do we want to throw a Christmas party this year? Any of that stuff. Any leaders want to bring up anything? Go ahead, Gessa.
I'm not a technical person, and I finally noticed within the last week or so that we've got this new feature called Livestream on Discord, and you can share the game you're playing with the people you're playing. And a couple of things that seems to me like it could be used for is movie nights and other events can actually be held here in the server instead of in a dedicated call, which I'm happy about because that means the activity would be here instead of seemingly pulling people out of channel. Quiplash games, Jackbox party games, those could happen here. So I just thought that was cool. Also, I was curious, those of you who are on different servers, how have you seen this used? And do you have any concerns about it? Like, it occurs to me that it's possible for people to broadcast objectionable content. I don't think it'll really be an issue because people have to opt in, and our membership is usually really quick to catch that kind of stuff. So, question to the community: like, have you seen this used? Do you have ideas? I'm just curious. The only way I've ever seen it used here is just to share a game quickly with another person.
Yeah, that's basically what I've seen.
Have you tried a movie through it to see if there's any lag issues or anything?
Not yet. I got to talk to Bob, but
I was going to ask you guys about that the other night, and I
No
forgot
lag.
because it just seems like on Mondays you got people in here, and then all of a sudden everybody disappears to go to the movie, and then it's just like gone.
Yeah.
It's still limited to 10 people.
The live stream or the watch
Yeah,
the
I
movie
think
through
so.
that.
Yeah, so it's not really like a live stream, like a Twitch broadcasting globally live stream. It's kind of like, hey, you guys want to see what I'm doing in my game right now? Show your friends, kind of thing. In other words, anything that gets live streamed on here, like Rocketeer's doing right now, is not going out anywhere. It's only like you can join his stream right here on this Discord.
Yeah, but only 10. It only allowed 10 people to join it.
Right, I
From
think
what I
that's
know.
isn't that the limit?
How many do you guys get
That's
at movie
right.
nights? 5, 6, 7, 8, 10?
I think it's
Remington usually has a packed house because he draws people from several servers. Bob and I tend to get 3 or 4 people, and often we get no one. There's exceptions.
Well, what would it hurt to run like 2 movie channels then?
Yeah.
As long as everybody was in here where everybody could see each other, it would draw people in here.
Yeah, there's usually not more than 10 people anyway, so it's no more limited than the call. So it might as well be here.
Well, this is a good time for me to ask. I believe Bob was talking about playing long-running TV shows like Clone Wars and things like that. Should TV watching be separate from the movie nights, or should they be one and the same? Anyone?
Or they can watch. Or they want to watch.
Well, another reason I ask is because, like, okay, just for example, Bob wants to play one of maybe 3 different shows he's interested in. What if I wanted to run another TV show also? I would obviously have to pick another night, but like, should we have more than one channel, or?
I think the same channel, if you guys are rotating the nights, would be good. And our our biggest
Yeah,
challenge has
but-
always been the person to run it. So if you're willing to do that, go for it.
We
I
can
have
still make temp channels, can't we?
I have a 100% secular TV show that involves someone CC related, and I want to play it. And Global, you should be there.
Involves someone CC related?
Yes. I can go ahead and tell you what it is.
Please do, because you're hurting my brain.
All right, this last year, I believe it ended in September, started in April and ended in September. It's made by the same exact people that make it in America. There's a show called Australian Survivor. They have a different host, but they actually don't go 39 days with like 15 people or whatever. They go 50 days with 24 people. And Australian Survivor this last year was groundbreaking. It was actually better than American Survivor. And one of the mastermind villains of the show this entire last season was a young man named David Jeanette, who used to be a CC council member.
Oh, really? The pretty boy.
Yes, and dude, he was the mastermind villain of the show. For those that aren't aware, you need to go to our CC timeline on the website. David Jeanette is a supermodel, and he used to be the scrim team leader for Counter-Strike Source when we were primarily a
Just
Counter-Strike.
before I hit the big time, though.
Yeah. I don't know if you know all the stuff that's happened with him in the last few years, Global, but he followed Nicolas Cage and Hugh Jackman as the face of Mont Blanc's new fragrance called Emblem.
Yeah, I've kept up with what he's been doing. He's big time now.
Yeah, the Ford models in New York call him one of their moneymakers.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's like the first 3 episodes, he like doesn't say a word, and he's like the invisible dude nobody pays attention to. And then he comes out and he's like the man behind the scenes with all the power.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, we have any open meeting business from anybody that's not a leader, anyone at all? I think we skipped Christmas party last year, Mags. Yeah. Guess I summed it up right there. We would occasionally have 3 nights every December, and one of those nights would be everybody plays the same game. One of those nights was like, I don't even remember what they did on the second night. It was another game. And then the third night was Christmas Carol karaoke. And Christmas Carol karaoke was funny, agonizing. It was you go through every range of every emotion. And I believe Christmas karaoke night we would do like game key giveaways and such. I think we skipped it last year because this is the kind of thing that requires people to organize, to promote, to get it together. And I don't want this to sound bad, okay? But our leadership that have been here for some time, they do certain things. And when we pile on and give them extra duties rather than participating ourselves, it doesn't help. I mean, if you want an event to take place, you should step forward and help it take place. If that makes any sense. Well, I tell you what, we probably are going to have another meeting. Looks like the 26th or so. No, the 2nd, I'm sorry. The 2nd of November. What we need is we need people to start talking amongst themselves about Christmas party plans and we need to pick one leader to be their contact. As far as like, that leader will be the one that they come to with all their thoughts of what days we should do it, what times we should do it, all that good stuff. If we're going to play games, what games we would play, all that good stuff. Very well said, Amroth. Exactly what I was trying to say. So, do we have a leader in particular that everybody can come to?
For
Well, like let's say Silver and Max wanted to get together and come up with a cool plan for like dates and times and games that would be played and so on. We need one leader to be like the person who brings that to the rest of the council.
talk to me. I know if you like, you can talk to me. I know Bob, I know Remington, and I think all of us can coordinate pretty well together.
Okay. So you guys just coordinate through Kessa, and if there's anything that needs like big time leadership oversight, she'll be the one you'd come to. Alrighty, so global.
Well, not by, but
All right. Anybody else have any open meeting business left for this meeting? Alrighty. What we're going to do is on that last subject, I'll consider Silver Houdini and Megs to be jumping together for our Christmas party plans. We'll see what they. And Casa will be their contact on the council. And if no one else has any other open meeting business they'd like to bring up, I guess I'll call this meeting adjourned. And